So let me just answer this question, right? What is the best thing about the US? I think it's the outdoors. And I am not a nature person. Like, I've never been a mountain person. I've never been a nature person. I like beaches because, like, you don't have to do a lot of labor in order to see something. It's just right out there, and it has a more laid back vibe to it than like mountains have like a lot of hustle and then you get the view or whatever. But I think so I'm basically a beach person, and I'm not like a nature person or like a travel person as such. But here's the thing: in the US, you don't have to go out to see nature. You don't have to go a long way to see something. It's like everywhere. It's right there. Everything is a little clean and underpopulated. I think that definitely contributes to it. Anyway, the landscape is very nice. It's very clean. The sun is good. I feel, again, like I'm talking from like very limited data because I've only been here in for like 40 days now, and I've only been in California and Tempe, so there are parts where it gets like really gloomy. But I think overall it's very scenic, and like the best thing you can do in the US is rent out a car, go on a road trip, and like go somewhere like to a national park or something. I don't want to say enjoy nature, but I would say be outdoors as much as possible, and doesn't essentially have to be nature. Just be outdoors and do a lot of road trips. I think these two are, again, road trips will be a subset of being outdoors, but these two are like the best because the roads are, it's amazing for someone coming from India, right? So I think the most fun I've had is while we were driving from San Jose to LA. Not like being there in LA, not being there in San Francisco. I think it was just the drive because it's so good. It's one of the good highways, but I would say there are like much better. Like, for example, there's a California highway known as Big Sur, which goes along the coastline. Those are like out of the world. But like I'm saying that like a normal highway also is so scenic and so nice to just like drive along for like 4 to 6 hours. That's the best thing that you can do. It's not food or clubbing, because food is better in India because Indian spices are like they're next level. Obviously, I think everybody knows it that for someone coming from India, they'll find like American food very bland, unless you're probably in some parts of like Nashville or Texas. I think the chicken, the barbecue there is good, but that's just barbecue, right? Overall, the food will be a little on the blander side, but I don't mind because I eat meat a lot. So I eat like a lot of turkey, ham, and chicken, and you can like almost like work around with that. You can put like hot sauces and stuff, and meat is still tasty. Coming from India, like F1 people like me, right, they would have to stick to just Indian food, because if you're doing like a paneer thing or like tofu or whatever, like if you do like an American version of the food, it'll be like bland and not tasty at all. So you have to kind of do it in the proper Indian way and include all the spices. But I can get away with it because I just make like chicken and rice and stuff, so I can almost like avoid the entire hassle of making it properly, and that way it's quicker. But yeah, so food is, you should not come to the US for food, right? I don't think anybody does, but like I'm just saying. And I think even nightlife and stuff, first of all, you won't be able to afford anything because even the Uber ride will cost like $10, and a drink will cost like $15 or $20 in like a normal club or anything. And I haven't been to a lot of places. Like I in Tempe, I haven't been anywhere right now to any clubs or anything, but in California I went to a couple of places, and I would say they're pretty at par with India, because like even India has like a lot of craft beer these days. Actually, Bangalore does, right? Here I think the one of the biggest thing is craft beer. There are a lot of breweries, and the main attraction is craft beer, so people really enjoy craft beer. And that's already there in India. And I think even Indian breweries and clubs are pretty good. Like I'm talking about the interiors, the architecture, and how lavish they look, right? So they're pretty good and they're pretty at par. So there's nothing exceptional going on here. And also, like I would say, like luxury stays, I think a lot of hotels here are actually worse. So for example, like basic Hilton and Marriott, they look pretty shabby and stuff. So unless you're staying in like an exceptional property, it won't be that great. Because they're pretty old. First of all, they're like 40-50 years old, so they're not, they don't have a nice vibe altogether. Whereas in India, I would say a lot of like 5 stars are a newer thing. So even like a standard, like a cheaper Marriott, for example, like Fairfield or Courtyard, all of these, they're exceptionally well, so they're pretty nice. I would say luxury stays in India might be slightly better, unless you are obviously comparing like the best properties in the US, then probably they'll be better. But I'm saying like an average Hilton is better in India than an average Hilton in the US. Again, I will probably have to check more and then have a different insight, but from what I've seen, very limited data, I think that's my opinion. You should not seek these things in the US, and as an F1 you'll probably won't be able to seek any of these things, but I'm just saying like at least when you have the money coming in, these are the things that you probably want to avoid. Like I'm definitely going to avoid these things because they're not anything new, they're not exciting. Going outdoor is super exciting here because of the weather, because you go like an hour drive and you'll probably be in some paradise here, whereas in India you have to travel to Manali in a 12-hour long bus, which I am never doing that. I have never been to Manali, and it's just too much hassle for me. I'll feel sick and I'll feel pukish, I'll have vertigo and all these issues, so I can't do all of that. Here it's more accessible, it's more, and second, it's more peaceful that way because there are less people here. The tourist spots in India are super overpopulated, so the sparse population actually contributes to the scenery as well, because if there's like let's say there's a park and there are like 200 people in front of it, then it's not a good scene, right? And that also happens in the US, obviously, like the main national parks, but obviously as compared to India, it will be more chill, it will be more laid back, it will be more like serene and stuff. That's something that I will definitely pursue in the upcoming months and maybe years. Almost forgot a big one, that is the essence of a car. So in the US, if you do not have a car, you're basically almost like disabled. So is that politically correct to say? Anyway, after the house, the most important thing is probably having a car, because you can't really go anywhere else on like depending on public transport, apart from like a few places. I've heard like New York has a great subway system and all that stuff, but if you're in like California, Bay Area and all this, because I was there in Bay Area and I didn't see a lot of like public transport and everybody just uses a car. The other thing is having a car makes financial sense here, because the resale value is decent, so it doesn't depreciate. It does depreciate, but then even like second-hand cars are available in the market, and you can sell it off after like 3-4 years in a decent price. So in India, like if you buy a car for like 8 lakhs, I think after 5 years you'll probably sell it. You'll have to sell it for like 3 to 4 lakhs. I'm not sure about I think there's this term called IDV, so, which calculates the depreciated value and based on time and like how much your car has been driven around and all of those things. But I think that's a rough number. It almost depreciates by 50% in 4 to 5 years. Here the thing is like you can drive around a car for like 4 years and then probably sell it at a slightly higher price depending on the demand in the market of second-hand cars, of like pre-owned cars. So then you're essentially not paying anything for owning the car. You're just paying for gas and stuff. It's as good as like renting a car and stuff. So I picked up the bread and wine from Trader Joe's. It's almost time to make a Christian joke, but let it be. Yeah, when someone blares the horn, the other person has done something extremely wrong. So it's almost like abusing in India. So because otherwise you never like honk here. So that's also a new thing. That's why it's very silent and calm. Even the roads in India, driving is like, it's almost like a mental challenge, because there will be a lot of honking. Some guy will like try to cut you in the front and stuff. Here that shit doesn't happen, but since like cars drive at a higher speed, it's very risky and there are a lot of like accidents, and the scale of the accident is generally higher. In India, most of the accidents are like minor fender benders, like a scratch or a dent and all that stuff. Here a lot of them are actually pretty fatal. So I think this should be a good time to like wrap this video, and I'll probably get into like depths of everything in the next videos upcoming. And put it like collate it into a series where for example, driving, right? I just got my instruction permit, so the rules are pretty different. So I'll probably talk about driving in a video, like I said, banking in another video, and all of that stuff. Almost forgot to mention, but you have to fill your own gas at the gas station. So I think the first time I went, my entitlement kicked in. I'm like, oh wait, where are the guys, who fill the gas in your tank? So, and Siddhant, my friend, he was like, you have to do it yourself. That's another like entitlement crushing moment in the US. But yeah, that's a big one. I didn't know that happens, and like we have never faced that in India. So there's always someone. I've never actually touched the nozzle or whatever you call it that you use to fill the gas. Probably end the video here. Catch on my Saturday morning sleep, because I woke up at I think I woke up at like 8:30 or something, and it's 11 now. See you in the next one. So yeah.